Let's get into the final segment of the program. The Detroit Pistons hot board. They're looking for a new head coach. We got some names to watch out for here, and we'll start things off with Stackhouse. What do you think about this?
Well, I love Jerry Stackhouse. I think Jerry Stackhouse deserves a job in the NBA. I think that he made that G League squad into something really legit with the Raptors. They made it all the way to the finals and then ironically lost to the Spurs G League team, which will never not be funny to me. But I think Jerry Stackhouse is ready to make the jump to the NBA. His offensive system is very modern. He understands what star players mean in the NBA. I mean, he was a former one. I mean, Jerry Stackhouse was a really good NBA player. I feel like people very much underrate how good of a player he was in the NBA, and I think he brings a lot of his overall talent, or a lot of his overall basketball IQ to his coaching. I mean, just you watch the Raptors and what they've been able to do. It's a really, really good team. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do in the NBA.
Why is he such a big-time name right now? Why is there so much buzz around him?
I think it's because he played in the NBA and he was a star player by himself, at least for a little while in there. I know he was a little bit of a journeyman, but this is a guy that averaged 20 points per game 4 times. I mean, he almost averaged 30 points per game when he played for the Detroit Pistons. Again, that's why I also have him on this list, because he did play for Detroit. But I want to see what he does as an NBA head coach. I think he'll do a great job.
All right, so there is one coach to watch out for in this new head coaching hunt for the Detroit Pistons. We've got another name to watch out for, and Harris, former Hawks coach.
Yeah, and Mike Budenholzer. This is an interesting one because I wonder where he wants to go now. Because originally he wanted to go to the Knicks, and now that the Knicks have got David Fizdale, where does that leave Budenholzer? Because he almost went to the Suns, that didn't happen. He almost went to the Knicks, that didn't happen. So now for him, the open jobs are the Pistons, the Bucks are still there. Budenholzer's going to get a job. I just wonder, is he the right fit for the Pistons? Now, he did have good success with the Hawks when they had Paul Millsap and Al Horford. Obviously, the Pistons have Andre Drummond to go along with Blake Griffin. So the possibilities are there for Mike Budenholzer. I'm just worried that his offensive system and the way that he plays defense is just a little bit outdated in the NBA. I mean, look, he can never have success in the playoffs. They had a lot of problems figuring out what their rotation should be. I mean, they got blown off the court by LeBron a couple times. Like, it's an issue. I'm worried about how he would fit in with the Pistons. I get it. He used to have a two big man lineup in Atlanta, but I mean, they didn't win. Like they won in the regular season, but you don't hire a coach to win regular season games. You hire a coach to win a title. And I wonder if Mike Budenholzer could come close to that with the Pistons.
All right, so keep an eye on Budenholzer there. Let's go to the next name on our list, Mark Jackson. What do you think of him? When is it his turn to not get screwed over? Because what the Warriors did to him, I understand Steve Kerr. Again, I think that Steve Kerr is a good coach. I think that he's a little bit overstated. I mean, you put him on a different team, and you kind of wonder, how good of a coach would he really be if he chose the Knicks over the Warriors when that fateful decision came. But when does Mark Jackson get a chance to prove himself again as an NBA head coach? Because people forget, he pulled the Warriors out of misery and helped them turn into a relevant franchise in the NBA once again. That didn't just happen out of nowhere. So if you're thinking to yourself, oh, Mark Jackson, he got replaced by Steve Kerr because Kerr was better, I think Mark Jackson deserves another chance. And I think putting him in the Eastern Conference is a really, really good place for him. I like his offensive system with the Pistons, a lot of off-ball movement, a lot of three-point shooting, but it makes sure that the big guys stay down low. Blake Griffin's biggest problem in his NBA career so far, he spends too much time shooting the ball. This dude's huge. He's a mammoth of a person. He's so muscular. Stop putting him on the elbow. Put him in the block. Put him in the post. Let him rebound. And that's what Mark Jackson would let him do. I like this fit a lot. All right, so that's one name to watch out for. Let's get to another here. And Harris, I got to contain my laughter, but David Blatt.
Yeah, no, I have him on here simply because someone is going to eventually hire him, and it would be such a Detroit Pistons thing to do to hire David Blatt. Because we already went through this. He has an issue with star players. So now you put him, I'm not going to call Blake Griffin a diva. I'm not going to do it. But he's certainly a character both on and off the court. And we've seen in the past that David Blatt plus characters, especially what we saw with the Cavs, was a complete and utter disaster. I think if Blake Griffin
Do you think he still texts LeBron, by the way?
Man, that would be awesome. Like, I think that he'd be a great fit with Andre Drummond without Blake Griffin. But with Blake Griffin in the fold, I just don't know how much of a hold he's going to be able to have over this team. He's a good coach. He's one of the best European coaches, if not the best European coach in the history of basketball. This dude wins EuroLeague titles like they're going out of style. But I just don't know if the NBA is the right place for him.
All right, so we got David Blatt on the list there. Just to keep in mind, let's get to another name here on the hot board. Tom Izzo, Michigan State head coach.
I have this on there because Michigan, Detroit, it's close, it's in-state, and Tom Izzo's been rumored to be going to the NBA. Every single year you hear rumors about this, whether it's him or Calipari, Bill Self. They're always rumored to go to the NBA.
Kind of like Gruden with the NFL.
Exactly. And now Tom Izzo, if there's ever going to be a team that he leaves for, the Pistons might be an option just so he can stay home and obviously stay, not completely misplace his entire family. But I just, have we passed the point where Tom Izzo could have been an NBA coach? Now everything that's gone on this year with the Michigan State scandal, I just don't. I think his time to be an NBA coach has gone past him. He's a great college coach, one of the best of all time, a Hall of Fame level coach, or he is in the Hall of Fame, I should say. If you're an NBA team, are you going to want to entrust your franchise to Tom Izzo?
Right.
And I think for many teams, and probably the Pistons, who, as of right now, it's win or bust. I mean, they didn't just trade Blake Griffin to lose next year. They traded him to get to the playoffs and make a run for it. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how much of an improvement Tom Izzo brings to your team right now.
All right, so Harris, as we summarize the hot board for the Detroit Pistons, if you had to pick a name that is the most likely to get the job, who is it?
I would love Stackhouse. I think Jerry Stackhouse would be a great fit for this team. His offensive system melds really well with the players they currently have. He's a former star player in the NBA, so he knows how to deal with star players. This is a really good place for him to start his career. A bubble playoff team that that has a high upside. Their floor is probably what it was this year, about the 9th or 10th seed in the East. But if everything goes right with the Pistons, this could be a top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. The East, especially if LeBron leaves, is really, really weak. So you put Jerry Stackhouse, you bring him back to Detroit, the fans would love it. I mean, the dude averaged 30 points a game and helped them stay relevant in the early 2000s. I think it'd be really fun to see Stackhouse coach the Pistons.